The dressing was excellent as usual. What'd you baste the bird with?
The gravy, why?
Well, next time, try half a cup of currant jelly.
You know something, man? Someday you're going to make some lucky woman a good cook.
Mother, have you seen my ice skates?
In the hall closet.
Oh, Norman and I are going to Baker's Pond.
Let's see it.
I'm a mess, I know.
Well, it's only one man's opinion. I'd say you look fine.
No, it's the jacket. It's all wrong.
Meaning it's last year's. You know, there is something that would go with that.
What, your blue sweater? I tried.
I'm sure you did. Just a minute.
You know, I didn't know that going skating was all so complicated.
For your information, Uncle Matt, on Sunday afternoon at Baker's Pond, one is apt to run into all sorts of people.
Well, for your information, young lady, I was running into them long before you were born. At Baker's Pond.
Really? You used to ice skate?
Yes, in my wheelchair. That was until my beard got so long I tangled my skates.
Here, I've been meaning to give you this.
Oh, Mother, really?
Really?
Oh, it's beautiful. From Jackson's in White River. But you haven't been to White River.
Not recently, no.
What have you been saving it for?
Oh, special occasion.
What do you think of Mother making these secret trips to White River?
Your mother is a woman of many mysteries, Allison. Well, that looks perfect.
It does look nice.
Nice. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, there's Norman.
Have to go. Goodbye, you two. See you later.
Do a figure 8 for me.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
And don't forget your skates.
I won't.
What was that all about?
I thought you'd guess.
Well, I don't know about Allison, but I was completely confused.
Elliot bought her that sweater. He was in White River reporting to his parole officer. And he asked me to tell her that I gave it to her.
Sort of put you on the spot, didn't he? Need some help? You realize what it is you want to say, but you think it'll sound strange.
Something like that.
Well, why don't you say it?
Well, it's more than Elliot's coming back. It's when he's come back. For years now, I've been afraid to make any plans because of him, and well, now that I might, he's here.
Well, you knew all along there was a possibility of his parole.
Yes. Well, what's really disturbing me is that whenever I thought of Elliot in prison, I thought of him as totally changed, but now when I see him again, he isn't all that different.
Did you want him to be?
Well, it was easier that way. Somehow I never wanted to think of Elliot, the Elliot that I knew, as a man capable of murder. Now, I can't forgive myself for ever believing that he could be.
Well, I suppose a woman's intuition is her only basis for judgment. Providing it isn't colored by emotion.
You think mine is?
I think you still find Elliot attractive. Well, don't you? And that is all the difference, isn't it?
Oh, that feels good. My toes are freezing.
How does the rest of you feel? You sit down on that ice pretty hard.
I did not sit down. I was pushed. You're so gallant, Norman.
Can we have 2 cups of hot chocolate, please, ma'am? Did you have fun?
Yes, I did. Did you?
Yeah. But you know, I kept watching all those grown-up people trying to act young, making idiots of themselves. And there we were having a ball. I felt sorry for them. But, you know, if we've got to become like them, like so-called adults, well, it's for the birds.
Spoken like a young man with decided disrespect for his elders.
Hello, Mr. Hanley.
Hi, Allison. Norman. I'm afraid I was eavesdropping. A rather bad habit of mine, but it's been a long Sunday afternoon. I must fall into that so-called adult category, but may I invite you to join me anyway?
Well,
It's all right. Thank you.
Can we have another, please? Norman, I gather you don't think much of the adult world. You find it somewhat less than desirable.
no, sir. I just meant that grown-ups don't have as much fun.
And you do?
Most of the time, I guess.
Didn't you when you were young?
I did not. But you're right, Norm. The so-called adults don't seem to have much fun, do they? Now, why do you suppose that is?
I don't know exactly. Things happen to people. People change.
For the worse.
I didn't say that.
That's what you meant, isn't it?
Why should he? If people are good, I think they stay that way.
You really believe that, don't you, Allison? Let me tell you something, Norman. Good is an illusion.
That doesn't make sense.
It's a philosophy, Norman. Mr. Hanley believes that reality consists largely of the destruction of illusions.
I don't buy it, whoever you're quoting.
Well, we have a rebel in our ranks. And I'm all for rebellion, no matter what form it takes.
Well, when men rebel, they generally have a cause they believe in.
Hello, Mr. Carson. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
This is Norman Harrington, Mr. Carson.
Oh, Norman. Tell me, Paul, what do you believe in?
Despair.
That's existentialist jargon.
Not for those who understand it.
I've read your existentialist. We had a fine prison library, and I had plenty of time. Has he been trying to give you a bad time?
I'm not really sure.
Norman was just beginning to fight.
Do you think he might have won?
I wasn't in despair.
Optimistic, Allison. You're not one, are you, Elliot? An optimist?
You're wrong, Paul.
Oh? Then explain optimism to Allison. She's a firm believer in hope.
I've lived with it. And if you had any first-hand knowledge of despair, you'd know a man has to outgrow it or be destroyed. Despair is death. I found hope or I wouldn't be here.
Carefree, you have a good day?
It was great, just great.
What's so great about going skating alone?
I did. I took Allison.
You're really becoming a man of the world, aren't you? Movies, dates at Baker's Pond, what next?
Well, if you loan me your car next Saturday night, there's a dance at the shoreline.
Well, let's see. I'll tell you what. If you ask Allison and she says okay, I'll let you use the car.
That's generous of you, big brother. I just might take you up on it.
But will Allison...
Been studying, Rod? You're getting to be a real stay-at-home. You've got to get out more.
What do you suggest I do, Dad? Let's see, I could go bowling alone, or skating, or take long walks. Let's see, it isn't the weather for fishing, so I could go down to the beach and look for shells. Dad, the activities of a married man are a bit limited, especially at my age.
I understand how you feel, Rod, but don't take it out on me. There's only one person who's really to blame. I've got some news for you. I think we're really beginning to get somewhere. I've talked to Blade. He's traced Betty through an employment agency where she registered. He knows where she's staying and with whom. You don't seem to be very interested.
I don't like the idea of him following her, spying on her.
He doesn't have to follow her. That's not the way they operate.
If he knows where Betty is, can't we contact her?
All in good time. I said she was living with someone. A girl she met quite casually. Not the kind of girl you'd want Betty to take up with.
What does this Blaine know about the girl?
He has information about her. Doesn't look too good, Rod. I'd rather not go into detail.
No, let's not go into detail.
If you want to get out of this marriage, this contrived marriage, I'd suggest we make use of any information we can get. Hello? Julie? Why, yes, he's right here. It's Mrs. Anderson. She wants to talk to you.
Yes, Mrs. Anderson? Well, when did she call? What did she say? Oh, yes, I see. Yes, thank you. Betty called her mother last night. She's coming home.
Don't let it start all over again, Rod.
Dad, this time, let me handle things.
All right. But things might include whatever information Blaine sends from New York.
Aren't you assuming a great deal?
My assumptions generally end up as facts.
I assumed something once. Oh, months ago, I assumed something about you and Mrs. Anderson. What about my assumptions, Dad?
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
Allison, did I offend you yesterday?
I was trying to understand you better.
Allison, you don't have to understand your teachers. Just concentrate on the lectures.
I had a feeling you were good friends.
Well, Michael has been a good friend. I'm fond of him.
Fun? So?
Well, George, Betty's here.
How are you, Daddy?
Fine.
You'll be well soon, I know that.